Alright, welcome back everybody. Thank you for joining us yet again for another episode of Unheard. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. We really appreciate it. You have been with us for the past, 8 episodes now, and now we're at our 9th episode. And it's quite a journey. It's a lot of learnings for us on this side. So really appreciate your support. I do think that we have learned a lot, so I hope that you guys who are watching or listening are also learning. So for today, we have another guest. Give welcome to Christian Swaby. Now, Christian is a university student. He is studying psychology. Yes. He is also Jamaican.
Very much so.
I think that should have been first. He's on the younger side, right? He's also an intern here at Dr. KAD Morgan and Associates. So he's working with us, getting his feet wet in the world of psychology. And welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. So, of course, introduce the guest. I am Verol, Billett, one of your hosts, and we have...
And I'm Jason Henry.
All right. So, Christian, welcome to the Unheard podcast.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
What are you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's a good day.
It's a good day indeed.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So we started this whole podcast creating a space for men, by men, to talk about different issues and topics, realities that are the male species face in our country and beyond. And so we invited you on to hear your views on masculinity and manhood in Jamaica as a Jamaican male, as a young Jamaican male. So I guess the first thing I'd want to ask you, Christian, is what has it been like for you growing up in Jamaica as a youngster, as a male, and I'm curious to hear about the different influences that contributed to your growth, development, masculinity, your identity?
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind in terms of something that played a big role, even on topic, is I would say probably playing sports. I think that's something in Jamaica that is very, very popular. I feel like most people go play some sort of sport where they play ball, you might play basketball, you might run, you might swim, or you might play cricket. There's a whole lot of different sports, and I feel like it definitely plays a really big part in shaping a young man, especially as they're going through high school or even through primary school. Because it was the culture that you kind of pick up on from maybe your teammates or maybe just the people who support the sport itself, I feel like play a big role. So when I think back to like my time in like high school, I think of some of my biggest influences, even some of my biggest male influences, I immediately think about some of my teammates and some of those guys who I play ball with. I went to Campion, so I played ball with Campion, and it opened a lot of doors in terms of who I spoke to, who I connected with. I think another big part of growing up, even going through high school, was I suppose having older friends in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in first form, second form, and I know I'm bridging in fourth and fifth form or sixth form. It's almost like a badge of honor kind of thing. And the only way I could kind of get that was through playing football. And you kind of get a lot of social status just from being good at your sport. Even on the inverse, I feel like a lot of guys are kind of looked down upon if they don't play in a sport any at all. I feel like in this society, I feel like I'm surrounded by it, kind of put you already kind of behind. At least when I was at high school, but those are some of the first things that come to mind.
So involvement in sports, did it also contribute to, well, it sounds like it did, but I'm asking anyways, your confidence, not just on the field, but just in life?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say having confidence or having the respect of certain older guys or other players gives you a lot of confidence, even just on school grounds, even outside of that. I think being exposed to, honestly, that feeling of like, all right, being respected by people that I might look up to in certain ways gives me a lot of confidence just to be even more comfortable around people my age, because if I'm already accepting or getting recognition from people older than me, or even sometimes when people around my age might see me talking to these people, I feel like, yeah, you know, I'm with these guys as well. So it definitely does give a level of confidence, but you know, it's also if you're not good enough some of the time, at least for me, some of the time, if I wasn't good enough, it would weigh on me, because I'm like, all right, these are the guys I'm trying to impress, I'm trying to improve, I'm trying to do better. It might sometimes feel like there is a magnifying glass on me, but could just be part of competitiveness and trying to be better as a player, as a sports player, honestly.
Okay.
So like you would say, well, let me ask you this way. Would you say in terms of like team sports versus like individual sports, there's like a difference that you would say, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference. I think in terms of team, I've only played football, so I can only speak for team sport. That being like you do have to get along with your teammates. You have to get along with them, and it's important that you do. But even so, I think it might translate similar to even like a individual sport, quote unquote, like swimming, for example. People can still look at your ability, maybe your times, maybe how much you improve, how much time you shave off at a meet or something, and still get that same like respect for you. I think that principle of like even as an individual, even an individual sport, if people see your ability and your achievements and accomplishments, even in another sport, like maybe something like tennis, for example, if you might play by yourself, but you still might have people who you train with or play around or play against. And I still think that idea of when they can respect your ability, it does give you a lot of confidence.
Yeah. I'd actually agree with that because like I did more individual sports. I did tennis and swimming. So for me, so like when I was hearing you talk, I was kind of like, I can't really corroborate this experience all that much.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but you know, I do kind of like link with certain people that I otherwise would have never known. And yeah, there is a certain advantage to it because let's face it, like if it is that you see certain people doing certain things, like like a certain shot or a certain time, as you say, people definitely take note of that, and it is motivational.
Yeah.
Because you're like, hey, I'm good at this. You know, I want to continue to get good at this. I want to continue to feel that confidence. I want to continue to maybe have like a good reputation. But as you were saying, Christian, like sometimes if things aren't going so well, you get the other side of it where it's like, you know, my confidence gets to look a rock. You know.
Okay. So all right. So there are a number of things going on in my head in terms of the direction to take this, because we're starting out with sports, and you mentioned high school, and you played right throughout high school, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of balancing your sport, because sports with academics, right? Because in other spaces, there has been this idea that if you play sport, then you're probably not academically strong, and not being academically strong is like, that's why I can't kick a ball, I can shoot a hoop. How were you able to balance the two? Were you forced to? Did somebody have something over your neck to say, if you don't do this, then?
I wouldn't say that. In terms of balancing it for me, even at Campton, there's a pretty heavy workload, I'd say. But time management, I never really struggled with it. I didn't think I really ever had an issue where my parents might have been on me, or my coach might have been on me for my grades or anything like that. Because the way I look at it was like, generally training is like 2 to 3 hours out of my day in total. I guess I just also didn't have to worry necessarily about other things eating up my time in terms of like transportation or anything like that. So that was less of a factor. If like school at 3 o'clock, I could have reached home by 6:30. I felt like, all right, I have enough time between 6, and if I want to go to bed at a reasonable time, like 10 o'clock, there's enough time, there's enough hours in that period of time for me to say, all right, I can eat, I can shower, I can do whatever, I can relax, and I can also study if I need to, or do work if I need to. But in a lot of other spaces, that isn't as easy. Or, as I said, the mentality of just like, I got to focus on one or the other. I can speak for Campion, and that used to be, or at least that was a big, at least my understanding, a big factor in why the football program at the time, before I came, wasn't progressing, because most of the culture that is there at the school is primarily focused on academics. Whereas if you go to maybe a different school, maybe a KC or Jollies or even JC, their focus is at least more split. Or at least take the football program a lot more seriously all throughout the school. I think that was also a big part of at Campion, where the staff and other just the general school itself don't see football and say, why you put so much effort into that? We're not going to accommodate that in any way. We're not going to give too much leniency, because that's not what Campion is going to want. So I definitely think there are other challenges when it comes to that. It depends on the environment you're in. If your coach will tell you, just focus on the ball, don't worry about that, football will carry you this far. That might also play a part in being able to actually balance those things. But I would just say, I think I was well equipped enough to handle it myself, but I understand there's a big struggle of the amount of time. And honestly, I personally think some of the time students' grades slip, but not for the reason because they're playing sports. I think playing a sport is a beneficial thing. It gives exercise. It improves your physical health, including your brain. I think there may be other reasons why students don't perform well in the classroom, and then sports is just the one that they blame. Just be like, yes, your grades slipping. Is that football? Is that sports?
That's a very good point, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in terms of what are some of these other reasons you think would contribute to the slipping in the grades.
It could be a lot of social reasons. I think there could be a lot more social reasons that than we let on. I think and reasons like that are difficult to convey to parents or to even to teachers. Maybe at a Campion, there's a lot of pressure to almost compete with the people around you. That can be demotivating. It's less focused on each individual student's performance as opposed to how far can we push the best of the best, and whoever gets left behind, catch up. I think a more focus on meeting each student where they are would help in that regard, because the culture at a school also, I think, is a big factor in whether or not a student is going to pay attention in class or even put in the effort at home. The home environment is a big factor. Circumstances surrounding your life. Like I said earlier, I don't really have the issue of like transportation. And next month I have to go to Portmore every day. Out in total day, it might take 2 hours of transit.
If you're lucky.
That just might not only just time consumption, it might drain you mentally. Just like, I have to go back and I have to go back again tomorrow morning, and you might have to come home and have a lot of other responsibilities. I don't know. Maybe there are people who, maybe there are kids who just go home and just idle for hours and then them grades slip and the parents have to talk to them. But there might also be a lot of other students who go home to dysfunctional homes, or just going home where they have to do certain thing. They have to do certain thing. They have to do a work outside. Even just like the friends that you keep at school. If you stay with bad company, students are like, what are we got class for? Class? No, brother, we are going wrong. So, different factors like that. That's not to disregard that. Obviously, sports can play a part if you already occupied so much of your time and you say, wow, I don't have the time to commit to this. I don't have the time to recover from it. But I just think there are other factors outside of just sports, man.
Sports. And then sports, for many students, has been a saving grace for them. Yeah. Because it keeps them coming to school.
Yes.
I remember when I was in high school, when it's sports time, especially on the days when you have a match, you're pretty much taken care of. You get your lunch, your snacks, and then if you have a caring coach, it's like a father figure, right? Or a coaching staff, father figure. You'll have mothers stepping in to help out, and it's like they really take care of the man them. Right? And so that, you mentioned the home situation for some persons, that space is a safe space, right? Where they can really get connection, be seen, be heard, be comforted, be supported, be held accountable too. So I really, really like that point that you made about sports being the scapegoat.
Yeah.
All right, what about girls? As a
Yeah.
sportsman,
Yeah, I mean, it plays a part, even as a young man. You play in any certain sport. Certain sports will just give you social status, especially. If somebody knows how you play ball and you're good at playing football, that's oftentimes that's all you really need for a lot of different people. Different sports might have different importance at different schools. Maybe like at tracks at a KC. Tell a girl say you're tracksman for KC, I run champs. I win base when champs time come around and she asks if you're perfect for something. You know, you are who she go to. Yeah, I mean, I think that's also it obviously plays a big part. Even as a young man, but a girl you talk at the same time is also a badge of masculinity. To be like, how many girls you talk to, how many girls you go see this evening, how many girls you have sex with. All of them different things that definitely contributes towards what a lot of Jamaican people, a lot of young people will consider, yeah, this is masculinity, this is what it looks like.
so when you and your brethren are married, right?
Yeah.
And the topic of sex comes up and sleeping with girls or having women, the amount of girls and whatever. Do you necessarily believe everything that they say?
No, not anymore. I mean, where I am now. I think when we were younger, I mean, even when I was younger, it still was, at least the people I was surrounded by was like, oh, wow, you had sex with a girl? It would have been a big deal if that ever happened. But I understand maybe at other spaces that might be a lot more common. In fact, I think even now, the age at which I said children are engaged in sexual activity is getting a lot younger. But even if my reason for watching them now, nah, I don't. But that's also just because of how much I've grown in terms of just my personal growth spiritually. I have my own answers to where I'm like, I mean, it doesn't really matter what you said to me. I already know what I doing with myself. But I think now where I am, I feel more, if I'm talking to friends of mine, or even not even friends, but just people around my size or not, I'd feel more confident to be like, no, I know the right thing. I know what I'm going to tell you. I say, save sex for marriage, bro. Don't bother get yourself in that. It's not for now. And I'd give my personal, experience and my personal beliefs, and I'm confident to do that now. But as a younger, it was still seen as just like a badge of honor, like something to aspire to, and something that many other people don't get, and we just do just to say that they did it. No other reason, just for say, hey, I had sex the other day. Just for say it.
Okay.
So that hasn't changed. So
It's not.
It really hasn't.
It's not.
I was gonna say it's good to know it hasn't changed, but I'm like, is that good?
I don't know. It's
Yeah, probably not that good. No. But in terms of what was I gonna say? Yeah. In terms of that point you just made, in terms of like you knowing yourself, you knowing your own like spirituality, your own path, but also in terms of sometimes family being like a detriment to like academic performance or other social stuff. Like, what's the role like family has played in terms of just your own personal development and just kind of how you navigate the world?
Well, in my family, I have a younger sibling, a younger sister. She's 17, so 5 years younger than me, and I think I got a lot of experience or opportunity to be responsible just by having a younger sibling. That my parents put a lot of trust in me, and they give me a lot of responsibility and kind of step back and they allow me to figure certain things out myself without having to be pressured to do certain thing. They're confident that I would know. All right, say I forgot this. Say when it's when like I was finishing up like sixth form, I say, all right, say I forgot start out college apps. When I'm going into CSEC or CAPE, I say, say I forgot start prep for this, and they kind of gave me that freedom to grow, and I appreciated that because it made it feel like, all right, they trust me. Is what it felt like. They trust me to handle these things. Some other time, that pressure would get to me of like, okay, now that they do, I need to live up to this. But I do think overall it was positive. But this is just for me. because it felt like, okay, my parents both respected and trusted me. So I was not worried. I'm not like, I don't feel control. I don't feel like I need their approval for everything. I think that they place a lot of trust in me, and so I was like, okay, I can. If I want to go to the road, I think the only thing I want to know is like, okay, how can you get back home? If before I could drive, then just say, okay, you're getting a ride back. You have an idea of what time you're going to reach back. You don't really set like, make sure you're back by this time. They just want an idea. They just want to get like, okay, just so that they know. If I say, I reach home 1 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock don't come and I don't reach, then they, as parents should, they'll be like, where are you at? And even if I said to them, as long as I keep communication open with them, they're always just like, okay. And these are things I had to learn. I was the hard way of like showing up too late and not saying anything, and then my father get upset with me. And I think to myself, oh gosh, is that it? And he's just like, look, you just have to, please speak to us, make us know.
I was going to ask, what happened when you messed up?
Yeah, if I messed up, and I think they've given me a lot of grace over the years, and generally it's always from something reasonable. I've never felt like in moments like those when my parents would talk to me, discipline me, that's ever been unreasonable. I think they've really tried to stick to that idea of, okay, we trust you, we give you this autonomy, but you still need to communicate with us. So my general routine now is if I'm going out, I at least say to them, all right, I'll be out basically all day. I'll probably come back late. They're not going to ask me, oh, where you going? Who you going with? Who you going to see? What you going to do? They might ask me, okay, you have money for buy food, for eat, and you're good for get back. If I take in a car or not, I ask them, hey, you have work? Can I borrow the car from X time till X? If I'm not and I get in a ride to and from, they're just like, all right, make sure you have your key and shout me if anything. And I think as a young man, that is it's empowering because I get to be my own person. I don't really have to think about it. And even not too long ago, I mean, because now I recently moved back, and so I'm used to just be like, I'm going to dip, I'm going to leave, I'm going to show up back later. I think I said to my father one day, I went to go do something. He dropped me somewhere to go do something. And I said, I'm going on the road with my friends after. Did not reach back till after midnight. Granted, I knew that, but I never gave him any info outside of just, I'm going on the road after. And next day, he said to me, Chris, I'd really appreciate it if you didn't do that next time, where you actually said to us, you're going to be back home really late. Because when I told him, oh, my cousin's going to be on the road, he's assuming, all right, just going on the road and come back. Who's on the road for 12 hours? Kind of thing. And so I'm like, you know what? That's fair. Yeah, I would tell you that. So that's what happens when they would generally be very reasonable with me and just be like, and it makes sense to me. It's like, okay, I understand.
That's interesting though, because the question that pops in my head first is, well, it's not necessarily a question, it's more of a comment. That can't happen with any picnic.
I also acknowledge that. It's not something that can go on for every child. So I guess I'm grateful.
But I think too is the recognition of the child that you have as a parent.
Yeah.
It sounds like they laid a particular foundation for you.
Yes.
And you grew up in a particular way. They recognize the qualities that you have. There is an open and honest communication that is facilitated. But they also recognize that they are your parents and they hold you accountable.
Yeah. So I definitely think they do. As I say, it's something that has been built up in terms of it never just happened as I left for go college. It was something where they give me that trust and they know me well enough, and they've made it clear that this is us giving you this opportunity. This is us trusting you. So it's not like I'm just doing this because I felt like it. They have been very clear over the years, like, we give you a lot of trust, we give you a lot of just benefit for just to do what you want to, but please don't abuse it. And I've gotten that talk many times before. But yes, it has been something that over the years that they've seen, and then, as I say, you have to know your child.
But I do like the empowerment aspect, as you said, because like when you have like the helicopter parenting type of thing, the micromanaging type of thing is like, okay, so you don't trust me to do anything. So you kind of end up not even trusting yourself.
Yeah, I think it's a disservice for parents to do that to their child, especially after a certain age. of just either coddling them or doing everything for them or making sure that every piece that happens in their life it's under the parents' control. I think you do your child a disservice.
I saw on TikTok, I think a number of times, the Reddit stories.
Yeah.
Right. Strict parents make great liars.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And people tell
That's
their
dope.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right? Strict parents make great liars. And the people tell or share their stories. Whether it's AI, whether it's made up
Maybe
or
it's
whatever.
real, maybe it's not
But I
sometimes.
do think that when you hover and you are trying to control your child every step of the way, even sometimes in adulthood, they'll learn how to try and sidestep and do different things.
And they'll do it at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like there's a time where it's like, yeah, it would actually be good and useful to actually like kind of listen more to the guidance or whatever, but it's like because you've been wanting to rebel, you naturally just do it, but then you might do it at the wrong time and not like kind of heed the warning.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, how do you even know how to balance that out? And the only way you would even know is to basically be like kind of walking back and kind of like retrace your steps in terms of just like, okay, I remember when I wanted to go to this sleepover, and then father or my mother said, no, don't go over them people at the house and that kind of thing. It's sad, but I don't know. I think it also even impacts even vocational decisions because like you make your parent decide what you're supposed to do, which I think is a really good segue into why psychology.
Okay,
As a young man,
yes,
a Jamaican young man, psychology is not
very popular.
very popular to want to pursue. And we've spoken, so I know how far you want to go with it.
Yes.
Right? Enough studying, enough reading, enough lectures and chattings and enough work. Why
Enough girls too. But
that is true.
Yeah.
Why psychology?
Why psychology? I think I had just from as young as I can remember, I was in high school. Something I just naturally wanted to do was just to talk to people about their problems. Felt like I just wanted to do that with anybody who would listen or anybody who would feel like it. That felt very fulfilling to give advice, give a relationship advice, personal advice, dealing with things at home or just talking about certain things. I wholly believe that anybody can really study psychology, but you really do have to have a predisposition. Like there's certain things you can't teach. There really are certain things. Yeah, there's certain things that you just cannot teach when it comes to this specific field because of the nature of it, because you're going to be interacting with people. And yeah, you can read a book all you want, but if you don't know how to sit in front of somebody and speak to them as a person, it's just not going to work. But yeah, going through high school, I always felt really fulfilled by doing that. And so I always said to myself, okay, this is what I really like doing this. I got the opportunity when I was about 15 to counsel at a summer camp, Moreland summer camp in the summers. I've been doing that since I was 15. I'm 22 now. I've done a number of different camps.
7 years.
7 years, more than 7 camps, maybe like close to 15 in that total time. Ages from as young as 9 to as old as 18.
Nice.
And that also gave me a really good exposure of just like, okay, yeah, this is what it might look like being speaking to these kids, having them come to you, laying certain things out in front of you. How do you handle it? How do you react to somebody who is crying about something that you don't have any influence on, but all you can do is just talk to them about it. Things like that. I got that opportunity from I was 15. And then I went, by the time I reached like picking subjects for CSEC, I look at it and I'm like, I don't really care for any of these. I don't really have any other interest in any other subject. And so at that point I started to question like, okay, maybe I'll just do psychology. I went and I get to sixth form at Campion. The closest I could get was Soci. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try with sociology. And I'm going to put my effort into it and I'll see how I feel. And I think that was my best grade across both CAPE years. Just because, okay, as long as I know I can put effort into this thing that I enjoy and get a good grade, I'm fine with that. So that's where I decided like, okay, I'll go to college and study psych.
Question. What subject did you do for CSEC?
Maths, language, lit, let's see, POB, econ, IT, I did electrical and another AdMath and one more physics. That's what it is.
Okay.
So a little bit of business in POB and econ. I was, of the three sciences, I was good at physics, because I was generally good at math. I don't know why I took on electrical, I'll be honest. That one was, I think because somebody told me it was like hands-on physics, which it kind of was. And then IT, I just felt like IT was pretty useful. So all of them, and then ad math, because I said I was okay, I was pretty good in math. So I did those.
What subjects you did in CSEC?
The three sciences. TD, which I almost failed. I don't know how the hell I passed that. I was never good at that. That building paper, that was like the first paper I had for CXC, and I was like, I see everybody just doing them thing, and I'm just like, that's the dimensions? No, son, this can't. So I was like super insecure. Anyway, I passed everything, so thank God for that. But English A, English B, IT, maths, that was 8, right?
Three sciences, TD, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did English A, English B, math, RE, those were compulsory.
Yeah.
And then history, PUB, Spanish, and the visual arts. Okay? The reason I asked the question is because persons have asked me repeatedly, what subjects do you have to study psychology?
Bio might be good.
I think bio would
If
be
you want to
helpful.
do psychiatry, I think.
No, but
Or just in general?
But for psychology,
Yeah.
you will learn about the brain and the
Oh no,
body
yeah,
and
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So bio would be helpful,
Yeah.
but as you can see, I didn't do bio.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't do any science subject. Right? But the point is, you with psychology, you can come from anywhere with it and still pursue it. I feel because even my CAPE subjects
You did com studies, right?
had to studies, CAPE studies, history, Spanish, and sociology.
Yeah.
I think the com studies actually was good. I think that helped.
Probably. I don't remember much. But...
I did well. I did well.
It was my best subject, weirdly enough. Then soci.
Right? So sociology, I think we all would agree,
Generally.
was so fun
Yeah.
to learn. Because
Like psychology light.
It's like psychology just everywhere. It's just
Exactly.
everywhere.
Yeah. It's group. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Group, yeah.
Because even now that I think about my common studies IA was about alcoholism. My Caribbean studies IA was probably about education in Jamaica. The difference male marginalization in education.
We had an IA for that?
Yes.
Oh, that explains it. All right, never mind.
And sociology was probably something about education as well, something of the sort. So it's always in my head. Psychology was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
So back to the whole pursuing of psychology. How has it been thus far for you?
I've been enjoying it. I'm just glad that I picked something that I will enjoy. I enjoy the hands-on experience of doing it, and that kind of translates to tolerating the research and the reading. Because the reality is, I just don't love reading, so I mean, I'm gonna have to tolerate whatever it is. But it does make it easier, especially in terms of research, when I'm looking up things that I myself am interested in. Because then it's like, okay, I'm asking a question, I'm about to go and solve it. The work itself. It's fine.
Easy, man.
It's really not that serious. I'm gonna be honest.
It's not that
It has
serious?
not been that bad. I feel like the other subject could be a lot worse. It hasn't really been that bad. So I'm grateful for that, honestly. I mean,
Okay.
How was the rat experiment?
rat.
He
I
don't do that yet.
don't
do that
really
yet?
have it. Well, nah, I went to Howard for 3 years. I think I know about, who's it? Somebody with a rat in terms of their feeding habits and conditioning themselves based on like a bell versus that thing. I have a vague memory of learning that. We didn't do it ourselves. I just know about the study. I forget who did it though.
All right. So when you tell people that you're studying psychology, for example, when you're applying to university and you're putting psychology on your application for, and your friends ask you what you're going to do, teachers, parents ask you what you're going to do, and you responded, "Oh, I'm gonna do psychology."
Well, then again, did people actually do that? Because they did it with me. Like some people where they were like, "What are you gonna do with that?" And then some people were like, "Are you that?" So what was
Yeah,
it like for you?
I got it too. Yeah.
You got it too. Okay.
I don't really remember when I was applying for college what people kind of thought or said, because there was never any doubt in my mind. There was never really much doubt, partially because I really wanted to study it and I didn't want to do anything else. Because I've had people say to me, "Oh, I never do like a business subject." I'm like, I just don't want to. I really don't want to. Even till now, when I tell people I'm studying psych, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, wow." Some people are like, "I wouldn't have expected that." A few people are like, "Okay, yeah, that's cool, that makes sense." But I think also wouldn't expect it probably plays a part just because I'm a guy. There's not many men who are studying psychology who are also just going to stay in psychology. Because my intention is to stay in psychology. So yeah, I don't remember too much about when I first applied. But generally, if I say I'm studying psychology, they're like, "Oh wow," they either haven't heard somebody do that, or maybe they haven't heard a guy studying psychology, or they just say, "Oh, that's cool." Can't really tell if most people are like, ooh, snake. I don't know. Because even if they were during, it's not gonna bother me because I was already very much like focused on what I wanted to say. Like, you don't have to like it. It's for me to like.
I think I've gotten comments, unsolicited comments, in terms of, in my time, that a white people something, Jamaica don't need psychologists.
Jamaica very much need psychologists.
Right?
Gosh.
What you're going to do with that, you have to go back to school and learn something else.
Yeah.
Yes, for me,
said.
I take it on as a challenge.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I already figured this out. I already sat with it, charted the course, knowing full well I need to do this in order to get to this point. So they could have said anything. I didn't care.
Yeah.
It was a similar thing. I think, I don't know, like, because I told you a story before, where, like, so initially I was in IT. That's what I was focused on, ComSci. But then, like, I was just getting, like, mad bored of that. And, well, longer story, but I was bored of it.
Yeah.
And then Soci was there, and I was like, yeah, I like Soci. But then it was my brethren that was telling me, like, yo, why not just, like, do psychology?
Yeah.
And then just have, like, ComSci as the minor. If, because you have to put something. It was just like a bell. It was just like, yo, that is the answer. Holy crap. I can't, like, that was crazy. It was like fanfare. It was crazy. So even when I got in, like, I applied to UTech too, but I was like, yo, if I get into UTech, it's not gonna, because I'm not interested in a ComSci again.
Yeah.
So when I got the letter, I was like, boom, well, that's all. Just do paperwork thing, whatever, orientation. But I find psychology to be I find it to be like a weird subject in the sense that, well, in addition to soci too, it's weird in the sense that the divide in terms of like masculine, feminine, it's so stark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, even when I did my master's, same thing. It was just like so much women, so little men.
I've only been in my program.
There you go.
My year.
There were 3 in mine, and that was abnormal.
Yeah.
Like highly, highly abnormal. So this might be a nothing question, but like, what does that say to you? What does that mean to you? Like, did it have any impact when you just see like a flood of girls in lecture room?
To be honest, I mean, honestly, it said to me, it's work. I can come out there and find work. Because evidently there's not a lot of males in the field. And so that was honestly one of my first thoughts of like, okay, yeah, this have work. More find job because I'm clearly in a niche of the market that he needs just as much attention as anybody else. I think that's honestly, I know a lot females do it a lot more than male. But truthfully, it just said to me like, okay, great. Now I get to stand out. I get to be okay once I'm finished. People will hopefully be dying to have a male therapist or a male counselor that they can turn to because men who need it would probably prefer to talk to a guy versus a girl. So that honestly, I think that's that's what I think about the most when it comes to it. Never really pay hard woman too much mind, I'll be frank, because it's a waste of time.
Oh wow.
It's like, at least for what I would have
Sounds
looked
like
for.
there's stories there to be told.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, not paying it any mind because it's just a lot of, everything just casual, I can't bother.
Oh,
That's
I
the
see.
thing.
I see.
At least for what I would have wanted, it's a waste of time.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So that never really pay on my mind. Obviously, I mean, I go in classroom, beautiful women, how would you know? Beautiful women. But at least when I'm in a classroom, that's not really what I'm paying attention to. So.
Right. Okay. So your future, what are you working towards?
Yeah. I'm working towards being a therapist or counselor. I want to finish my undergrad degree. I want to do my master's in. My first option is counseling psychology or clinical. Clinical is just like a catch-all, can do anything. But my primary focus was I want to do for the rest of my life. I love to break it down like this, or just talking to people and helping them. So being a therapist, being a counselor, that's sort of work. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
Did family like impact your decision at all? Because like like as kids, like there's so many different ways we could go. Because you did play football, maybe that was something, but it ended up being talking to people, as you say. Like, was there something about family or something about how you were raised that gave rise to that? And Verol, you can answer as well.
I do think, for me at least, it was just something innately that I was just born with. Just the desire to speak to others, even the ability to listen and understand, and empathy. Being able to put myself in other people's shoes or things like that just came naturally to me. I think my family were fine with it. Like, I don't ever think there was ever like, oh, why would you do that? They're always just like, okay, cool. I think my father's asked me a couple of questions sometimes about like, oh, what do you think about this? Like, what he was saying to me I remember one time he asked me, how do I think I'd handle if somebody came into my office with just like something heavy, something awful going on in their lives. Because he was saying he doesn't think he'd be able to like detach himself and walk away. He'd leave the office and just have that burden on him. But I guess just from the experience I got as a counselor at Morelands, of hearing a lot of heavy issues that these kids come to us with, but being able to be like, okay, in one space, this is why I'm a counselor. In this space, and at least for that camp, is more like, it's different because I can become more involved in their lives, so I can continue to be this counselor to them if I either feel led to or I'm able to. But even after that, there are things that I think about where I'm like, oh yeah, that was rough when I was speaking to, but it's not something that baggage I personally walk around with. So I think my family are all supportive. They're just more curious about it than anything else. But yeah, definitely was just something just innately that I felt like, yeah, okay, this is what I want to do.
These are natural.
I think also.
I think so. For me, I've always been curious about people. I'm always wondering why. I was never the outspoken child. I was a quiet one in the corner just watching and observing. But I would also try to understand people as a whole and interact deeply with people, connecting with people. I'd be the person who comes and share something, get people to share things that they wouldn't share with anybody else. Not intentionally, it just happened. Right? Then in my teenage years, I've shared this story in spaces. The roller coaster of puberty and emotional development. An interesting ride. And when I tell people I did art, they were like, you did art? But I have to give thanks to my art teachers that I encountered in fifth form especially, who really pushed the envelope and exposed us to different art modalities and media, and it really was a very therapeutic experience. So that's where I found art therapy, and I started investigating. I realized, okay, this is cool, but what else is there?
Yeah. Okay.
And I found psychology, and I was like, okay, this feels right. This is it. This is going to be my life. And I just stuck with it. And I started, and it just made sense. The statistics part did rough. Nah lie.
Yeah, right.
Statistics did rough. But everything else just made sense. It clicked. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be anywhere else.
What's a chi-square?
Listen to me. Listen to me. It is.
I'm sorry.
It's something.
It's a statistical test.
I know that.
That's correct.
I remember.
I know what it is. I have to know what that is.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I teach research.
So you have to know.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have
I'll
to
remember when we finish the podcast. But
Right? But yeah, people look at psychology as this just a bunch of theories, but it is so much more.
Oh yeah.
Psychology is in everything.
It's everywhere.
Psychology is applicable to everything. Right? So even the whole notion of AI being a thing and AI can replace, no, it
No, I
can't.
can't. That's not. My father said to me, "Am I ever worried about like AI coming for my job?" I'm like, I think my job is future proof. I don't really think
Because no matter what they come with, the skills that we have as psychologists will be very, very, very
I think
valid.
even more so.
Definitely.
With the increase in AI.
because apparently a lot of people are getting like delusions and like psychological problems. Some people are committing suicide because of chatbots.
Yeah.
So
What's
who
the
they going to go to?
Yeah. What's the solution?
A human being.
All right.
So yeah. But I guess if I were to answer the question, it's a little bit of both of what you guys said. Cause like, yeah, empathy came like probably too easily. I was just like kindergarten, like, oh yes, I shouldn't hurt people because that's not cool. Right. Okay. But then at the same time, like I think what kind of makes me a little distinct from you guys is the sense that like growing up wasn't like super easy. I think a lot of people kind of like on the outside looking in look like, oh yeah, happy family, normal family. Not really, not exactly. There was stuff there that was like lurking and lurking and lurking, and then eventually would explode. And then it's like, all right, well, how do I resolve this now? Because I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to go to. But I did have religion, and religion kind of helped, but religion kind of hurt as well because there is some guilt and shame in that. Even if yes, there are avenues of liberation, so to speak. Sure, but it's so muddy that it becomes very difficult to like really find that solution. So when you have psychology now that's like super dedicated empirically to what works, what doesn't, when you're looking at people who have like dedicated their time to a study of something that 100 years ago people were completely ridiculing it, and then prior to that people were not even thinking about psychology in terms of like helping people. Initially it was just about like, okay, so this is the mental model of the world and blah blah blah, and okay, maybe we'll start doing something about learning, or maybe try to figure out how to make this horse the maths or some crap like that. But then eventually it gets to a point where it's like, yo, people suffering, maybe we should like apply it to that. And so to be in this job and to kind of like contribute to that, especially in Jamaica, that where I feel like psychology is still somewhat burgeoning, um, especially when you think about just like the shifting attitudes. People are taking it a little bit more seriously
Yeah.
now, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess for me, yeah, like the empathy did come naturally. Puberty was hell. I give you that.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. It's a whole bunch of different things. Friendships helped too. Friendships definitely helped because it was a friend that told me you should do psychology, So if it wasn't for that friend, yo, shout out Milton. I don't know. I probably didn't come cipher.
I guess.
Blame. But yeah. How have friendships like impacted your decision or
I think the biggest impact would have just been how comfortable people felt speaking to me or coming to me, and how often or just what they talk about or things like that. So I think that just gave me the courage and to be like, okay, maybe I can do this. I felt good at what I was doing, and I felt good. I was like, okay, not only am I helping people, but I think of the people that that might seek advice, I took a sense of pride to be like, oh yeah, people might look to me for this sort of thing look for guidance. So I think that would be the biggest influence that friends that I had was just kind of giving me the confidence and the confidence to feel like, okay, yeah, I could do this.
did you ever feel like you had to kind of play mediator sometimes where maybe like you're in a friend group or maybe even on the field where it's like you're kind of like diffusing potential issues?
I mean, yeah. I think honestly, that's kind of the type of person I am now. Is I'm just a friend of mine described me as diplomatic. I'm very, I don't really do conflict. Like if there is compromise, I'm generally like, whatever, fine, we're in the middle. I rarely get into arguments with people unless I know I'm right. But generally, I am like very like, that's just diplomatic. Just not too for or against. Just like avoiding conflicts. So I guess that is my way of being a mediator, of just kind of keeping the peace in a sense.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because I've been called diplomatic before.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, some persons are like, Verol, I want Verol, I don't want the psychologist Verol.
I got
and
that
I'm like,
before.
I struggle to really understand what that means.
Because it's natural to you.
Because in my head, when I hear it, sometimes I feel like, okay, so you feel like I am lying or I'm BSing you, right? But for me, this is my genuine response.
Truth. Yeah.
Though I am a psychologist, I don't leave myself at the door per se. My humanity shows up as I practice psychology, or as I practice whatever it is I do. But I also maintain certain boundaries and ethical, ethics.
Yeah.
So in my personal life or outside of the office or the roles of psychologist, I'm like, if I give you a response and you feel it's too diplomatic, isn't that more kind of on you? Because you're basically saying that, in my head, I'm lying to you.
They want the bias.
Right? But I'm telling you my truth. And I have kind of comforted myself to say I'm not necessarily responsible for the fact that you already have a preconceived answer that you're looking for. We can talk about it, but at the same time, if you ask me a question, I'm going to respond. Sometimes I may have to think about it, and that's fine because I'm not going to. There's no automacy in the response because of the nature of the question. Make sense?
Yeah, I follow that.
So, it's an interesting road.
Yeah.
I'm kind of fortunate in the sense that, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of my friends are also diplomatic. So they're never like questioning why I say what I say. They understand it, and I understand them. So I kind of lucked out in that sense. If I do have, and then I do have some friends that are a little bit more like biased or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's like maybe it might come from them, but like they're going to get gang up with the diplomats. So it don't work.
And then, in terms of, I'm big on emotional regulation and understanding emotions, all of that stuff, primarily for myself. And I tend to practice what I preach.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think sometimes people feel like when I don't react, which is not a space I tend to like to be in, is like I am hiding my true emotions.
Yeah. Somebody had said that to me recently. Someone I'm close with, they would say, "No, I want to know how you really feel." And I'm like, if they said to me, all right, for example, if plans get cancelled. I said, no problem, or plans change. I said, it's okay, that's fine. And they look at me and say, is it really? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I can adjust. And the way I feel about it is like, okay, no, it's not ideal, but I'm okay with it. And so that's when I'm saying, I'm like, oh, that's fine. I'm jumping ahead of the part where I mentioned it's not my ideal. However, it is fine. And I just bonded and I was like, oh, it's okay, that's fine. I suppose for people that are close to me, someone that made it clear to me, being like, look, it can still be fine, but I want to know what happens before. What do you feel? And so that's kind of where I'm now thinking, okay, my feelings are true in that yes, it is fine, but more I want to be more clear, or they want me to be more clear in like, what do I think, my actual opinion, as opposed to how I feel. And the example was given like, okay, plans changed. My opinion is like, I would love if they didn't. However, I still feel like it's fine.
Thank you for sharing that. Because I guess that is what I really want to know.
Yeah.
That in between process.
Yes.
Because I will jump to I'm fine very quickly because there's a thing that my mind does. It quickly calculates what's happening inside myself.
I kind of get what I understand what you mean. And I think that's what it is. It's just like, she just kept asking me and I'm just like, okay, well, no. I mean, I think I was supposed, they changed plans to go out with like family and asked me if I wanted to come because I was already going to be hanging out with them. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And then they really dug. I'm like, don't do that. I want to know what you feel. I'm like, what do you mean? And that's where I said, okay, it's not ideal, but I'm okay with it. And he's like, that's what I want to hear. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I understand. I think that is a reasonable thing to ask of me because I'm not, as I said, I'm not lying to you in that I think it's okay, but it's not, it could have been, if only we didn't do this, but it's okay. Or it could have been, I'd love to spend time with your family. That's fine with me. But a person may not know which is which. And she had said it doesn't give her the opportunity to sacrifice for me, in a sense. Because if I said to her like, I mean, it's not ideal, however, I'm okay with it. It doesn't paint the proper picture that she'd want. But like, hey, if you're not okay with it, I could have told them no. I could have. But because he said it's okay, it's like, maybe it's okay.
So it's kind of like expressing your preference would be welcome. But then if you are okay with it, then cool.
Yeah. I think that's where it is, where it's like, okay, the diplomatic part is like, I'm okay with whatever, because I am. But then if you ask me if I have a preference, most times I probably will. But I will just go to the part, like, it's fine, either which way. So that's something I think I'm kind of learning now, of like, when you're talking to people who are close to you, to let them know more of that process that we are so used to just jump into the final part.
It reminds me of a thing that I tend to do. If I've something that I've been working on. If you ask me a question and I've already figured out where it's headed, I jump to the end and perform and do whatever. So I remember one blatant example. My aunt, we were somewhere and she took something out of her bag and she asked me if I wanted it. In my head, my answer is yes, I just took it and I went back to the car and put it down. And I came back and she's like, you didn't answer me. So I'm like, the action already told you what it is. She said, no, you didn't answer me. I'm like, okay, yes, I want it. Yes, I want it. So I took it and put it back down. And I will always remember that because I kind of need to slow things down sometimes because of what's happening up here. And it just brings to mind the necessity of needing to continuously self-reflect as a person and to recognize how you impact others around you and the need to remain present. Yeah.
That's another great point. I mean, it's also a great segue into perhaps the last question. Big question. All right, Christian, what has been your biggest challenge thus far? And how have you been able to kind of like, I guess maybe even use the stuff you've learned so far, but also just like in terms of just like your own personal development? How have you been able to navigate that thing? and how it affected your mental health and how you hopefully got through it.
Yeah. Just in general, I suppose my biggest struggle throughout my journey through psychology, which really started at college level.
Or as a man.
I don't know, yeah, even so. I think it's still similar I feel like there's a lot of pressure on my own shoulders. So the other side of the trust and the freedom is I am figuring it out myself a lot of the times, especially when I was away at Howard. There isn't much that my parents really could do other than to buy a plane ticket and put money in my pocket for my last semester. I mean, I'm the only one going up abroad. I'm the one who knows all of the ins and outs of Howard. So they're like placing trust that I don't just come back one day and tell them, oh, Jano, I forgot to do this thing and now I owe thousands of dollars. Or I didn't register on time and so now I have to wait until January. Whoops. They leave a lot of those things to me, partially because they do trust me, but also because they wouldn't know. They can't really have what they wouldn't know. And even now, figuring out this transfer out to UA, a lot of the stress that I'm under, it feels at times like it's just me because I was the one who made the decision as I came home and I said I came home from camp, I said, look, for a number of different reasons, I want to transfer to UA. So I'm the one who coordinating with people at UA to figure out the transfer, to get accepted, to figure out what classes to choose, then to figure out tuition, speaking to Howard, being like, how do I tell them whether I'm deferring or I'm just fully withdrawing? I need my transcript from them. I also happen to need like course syllabi to give to you so that they can cross-reference everything to say, okay, this class line up with this and this line up with this. And all of those things on top of just me personally, like, even being an intern here, one of the things I wanted to do was get some sort of part-time to have money in my pocket. So finding the time for that, then managing doing that actual work. And in personal reasons why I'm here and building on that. So all of those different things that are happening all at the same time is a lot of just on my shoulders. And so that's something that it at times can be feel a lot of pressure because if it all falls, all that at least my people around me, my family might see, it's just when it falls. They're not gonna see they wouldn't see each and every step that I take in order to get that far. They would just like, you tried and now look what happened. You know.
So is there room for you to cue them in on your processes so that you can get some support? I mean, they can't do anything to help to move the process along, but to see the brother, the son, and so on going through all of this, is there anything that they can be cued in on to just offer support? I
mean, usually what I would do is I'll give them updates on what is happening and what I'm waiting for, what's the next steps, just so that they know and they're not just in the dark of like, nothing is happening. So I would have told them, I sent out the application, or I've been speaking to this person and they've been helping me. Or I tell them another day, nothing to do today, just waiting until they get back to me. Things like that. So they are aware of what's going on. I think it's more of just me personally being like, if this doesn't work out the way that I think it will, or if it takes longer, or if it doesn't, if it comes through, how will that look? How will that go down? And granted, my parents could just be like, okay, no problem, it's fine. But because I don't know, overthinking, it could be. But as I said, some of the time the pressure gets to you. I guess the best way that I deal with it, speaking to other people just about it helps. I mean, I have people who I talked and they're like, how can I help? And I'm like, to be honest, I mean, there's not much you can really do in terms of solving my problems, but talking about it helps. My faith plays a big part in it. Speaking to God, relying on Him, and understanding that if I am to be here, because I prayed about this decision a lot, so the fact that I'm here, He's not going to leave nor forsake me. Those sorts of things. I'm just trying to remind myself that even in the difficulty, even in the uncertainty, there is a reason, and there's a God who is looking out for me, who hasn't left me by myself. So in just certain moments of weakness, I try to lean on to things like that. But as acknowledged, it's just a very stressful time. Everything's just happening all at once, right in this moment. So it is just gonna be stressful.
And there's a time limit too. So I think that also kind of compresses things.
Yes, there is almost like a time limit of getting into Urian because the classes started Monday, but first week is whatever. Still trying to get that over the line as soon as possible. I mean, I'm here now. I'd love to have some money coming into my pocket to actually live my life whilst I'm here. And so, yeah, there is some element of like, oh, this needs to happen by such a time. And every day that passes and doesn't makes me worried. But yeah, I think it is also just the fact that everything happening all at once. And it just is just a stressful time and a transitional period of my life. So I think that would be my biggest thing, that pressure of just everything happening right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can totally understand that. I mean, yeah, fine. I've never like transferred like that before, but at the same time, I think you really nailed it when you said no one can really do anything but talking helps.
Yeah.
Because you don't feel so alone. You've already been cluing in your parents with what's going on, so you're not like truly alone.
Yeah.
You know, but basically, you're just doing your best you can.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, final question, much easier question.
All right.
What would you want to say to like the young men of Jamaica, like in terms of like certain concerns that you've had or certain things that you've seen or
or heard?
yeah, what do you think would like help them or that you think people need to hear about Jamaican men growing up?
Okay. I think something that I have learned, or kind of a lesson I've learned, is especially as men and as leaders, if we want to consider ourselves that seeking help is important, and not just for the baseline reason of seeking help. I remember talking to somebody and they were saying to me, like they were struggling with certain things, but the people around them were being affected by it, and they were saying, okay. I said to him, look, all the people around you are getting help. They're talking to people. They are seeking help or whatever for the things that they're struggling with. But you said to yourself, you don't need that. Why? I, as a man, I would never ask somebody to do something I myself am not willing to do. And it is not strength to avoid asking for help. Sorry, it's not strength. It's weakness, because you're doing a disservice to the people around you by not getting the best help possible or the best option. So if I say, if in the future I'm providing for my family, I would be doing them a disservice if I did not put my best foot forward at like work to earn a salary for them. It's the same kind of idea of if you want to impact the people around you, if you want the people around you to be happy, or you feel like you have a sense of responsibility for the people around you, you're doing them a disservice by not making yourself the best version that you can be. And assuming that you can do it by yourself is both naive and immature. I think it is much stronger to acknowledge that I need help, because if it wasn't difficult, everybody would just do it. But because it is difficult, it takes a level of strength to say, all right, I need to be better, not just for me. Because some people need that motivation of like, it's not just, if it's onus was just on you and you're the only person who affects it, a lot of people just sit with it and make themselves content. But something I find to myself a lot of the time when I don't feel like doing certain things is like, I'm not just going to do this for me, I'm going to do this for the people who will need it. And whatever that might be. So I would say seeking help is not just a reflection of you as a weakness or anything. It is more of I'm going to do this because I want to be the best version, and I'm doing the people around me a disservice if I didn't. I think that's something I've learned recently.
Excellent. Yep.
Well, I think that's a great way to end today. Christian, I can't thank you enough for accepting
really cool.
the invitation to be in front of the camera. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Good, and all the very best. And I know that you'll be joining us. You've joined us, but you've joined us at a higher level in a couple of years. Okay?
Yeah.
And you'll be great at what you do.
Thank you.
So, thanks again. Guys, we've come to the end of another episode 9. Again, please like, share, subscribe, comment, have watch parties.
Yeah.
Chat with. If you disagree with something, make a know.
Yeah.
Right? Just leave your comments. share, all the other things. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. Again, I am Verol Billett.
I'm Jason Henry.
And you will find us at 68 Lady Musgrave Road, Dr. K.A.D. Morgan and Associates / KAHLE Journey Limited. We're there, we do enough things. Check us out on our socials. Big up yourself.